Well, all I can tell you is this. In December, when we got picked up for the back half of the first season, as a little gift to myself, I bought a television. And that was, I guess, 2004. I still have the box.
Really?
No, I keep the box because you never know when I might need to pack it up and start shipping it.
Take it back to Best Buy?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, okay, so I'm going to guess because...
Could I say one thing?
Yeah, sure, Jack. Yeah.
I want to add something that unfortunately isn't going to be funny. But I remember Ian Somerhalder was the first character on our show to leave, to die. And I remember the set that day, and I remember leading up to that episode, and I remember there really is a family here. And like I said, this isn't the funny part, but we'll get back to the funny part. But I remember the sense of what it was like to lose one of our own, and how Ian got through the episode professionally and terrifically, and everyone around him. But there really is that sense of live together, die alone on our show. And so as funny as all this is, and it is, and I don't negate that, because we all laugh our asses off, actually. But the truth is that I do remember that, if you guys do, those of you who were there, that there was a real serious gravity to one of our characters not only leaving the show, but, you know, leaving the story. So I just wanted to mention that.
Right.
Also, this show is going to end for all of us at some point, you know? I mean, we're all going to leave the show, whether that's before the show ends or when the show ends itself. So you have to make your peace with that. You have to understand that this is the job you're doing at the moment, and then you will do another job, you know? The unfortunate thing about being an actor is that you become defined by the job that you are doing. So if you're working, you're an actor. If you're not working, you're kind of not an actor. But, you know, you have to get through that and realize that these are moments in your life. You work on something, it ends, you do something else. I mean...
No, I hired a private investigator. I have a pretty extensive file on JJ and Carlton and Damon, so I'm covering my bases. No way.
You know,
it's not true, but Josh is not dying.
I do think it bears mentioning, you know, along with what Jack said, for us as, you know, writers and or, you know, show creators, that, you know, as glib or as funny as we want to be about that, it's, you know, it's actually very hard, I would imagine, on the actors to sort of, it's essentially constantly be asked, you know, who's getting fired next? Although the question, you know, essentially is, who are you killing off next? The sum total effect is the same, which is you're no longer going to be working on Lost. And for us, that to call an actor, especially the actors who have been on the show, and Ian was the first one we called, and he couldn't have been classier about it, and just said, look, you know, Boone's going to die, and here's how it's going to happen, and we're really sorry, but, you know, it's not a byproduct of the work you've been doing on the show. This is what it is. And what's been amazing about this cast is every time we've had the, you know, unfortunate event of making that call, everyone has been totally great about it, because we're sort of, as corny and as rote as it sounds, we're all in service of the story. Even the writers, in some ways, you know, the story kind of gets to a point where you go, now it's time to sort of do this. Because when you look at Lost, you know, by the very nature of what it was in the pilot and what the stakes were, life and death, we were being asked almost instantly at the TCA, having only shot 2 hours of the show, who's going to die next? Who's going to die? And the thirst for blood, you know, from our audience is, you know, there is this sort of gladiatorial, is that a word? It should be.
Now.
You know, arena to it where everyone's saying, like, kill, 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 kill constantly. And
no, I don't think that's what it is, though. I think it's who's going to die next, because we don't want specific characters who may be our favorites, or, you know, maybe, you know, that there are people that you want to make sure that they don't die.
Who's your favorite, Jimmy? Who's your favorite? Come on, this year.
Or more importantly, who is okay to die in your mind?
Well, I wasn't sorry to see Michelle Rodriguez go, I'll be honest with you.
Yow.
And clearly you guys weren't either. So,
Oh, man.
Ow, it just got cold in here.
So
I don't
will
recall.
any of these characters that have died, because the show, there are flashbacks on the show, and we also don't know what the hell's going on the show. I mean, there could be a whole other island for the dead people for all we know.
Otherwise known as season 7.
Are there any plans for any of those characters to come back? We saw Boone come back.
Oh yeah, I mean,
last season.
Yes, you will be seeing in an upcoming episode several dead characters.
And how uncomfortable is that on the set?
I'll be honest, very.
Very, yeah. It is, yeah. Well, because it's like any job, right? I mean, I've certainly been fired from a lot of different jobs, and no one cared either. It wasn't like there was some big uproar, but it's an unpleasant thing to go through.
It's like what Jack had said before. This really is surprisingly a family still after 3 years of being stuck on an island together. And I think probably the most awkward thing about leaving or coming back is that there is a glue that bonds us all together, which is the story and this show and that island, the island that we are actually physically on. And for those who have left, they're no longer on that island, and they're no longer in this story. And I only imagine that if I were in their shoes and I were to come back, the hardest thing would be to see the bonds that we all still have that you are no longer a part of, because we really do get along, surprisingly, as a 15-member cast, and we all respect and adore each other, and we have friendships, and we have sister and brotherhoods. So I think that must be really difficult for people coming back onto the show, because I know when I consider leaving the show or being killed off of the show, the first thing I think is that I won't work with these amazing people anymore.
Do you guys still watch the show together every week?
Well, we've been on hiatus for a while.
I have cardboard cutouts of everyone I put in my living room. So yes, we do.
They use the action figures.
Yeah, because it is like a family, but it's like a family in that also, like, I don't want my Aunt Chippy over my house all the time. And if there's a way to kill her off, I would. But I don't have a J.J. Abrams to kill my family. I have to let nature do it. All right, let's take a look at some of the questions from some of the folks here. All right. That's dumb. This one's dumb too, but kind of funny. How do you best control continuity, like beard hair length, weight, etc.?
Wait.
It's a question
I think
for
that's
Elizabeth.
a Jack Bender question.
A question for Elizabeth.
Really, the beard hair length is the most impressive thing because, well, for instance, no one's ever clean shaven, really, and no one's ever got a full beard, really. Is that part of the mystery, or just good grooming?
We did add a few scenes, obligatory moments of seeing somebody shaving with a very sharp rock, just to try to lay that idea in the first season. In fact, I remember Emilie very much wanted a hat in episode 2, and she was mad at me because I made her not have a hat for a few episodes. But we have a continuity person, Patty Delzell, who's there, who has a nervous breakdown about every other day dealing with these issues.
So with a rock, then, the women are shaving their legs and armpits with a rock? Realistically, everyone should have ape armpits on the...
I just want to say that I actually purposely grew my leg hair out for all of my scenes in that dress. None of you may have noticed, but I did
I'll
it.
attest to that.
Thank God there are a lot of close-ups on the show.
I purposely grow my leg hair out for every episode.